Hey, it's Vicky, welcome back. If you're new to my channel, hey, it's Vicky, welcome to my channel, where I show you recipes that are budget friendly and simple. And I'm not afraid to use some store-bought things to have a little help. That's smart. I call that cooking simple and smart. Today I'm going to show you how to make potato soup. I make it with some leftover ham. It's so creamy and delicious, almost like a chowder. Doesn't take much to get this together. It's definitely a family favorite. Let me show you how to make it. So I've got my leftover ham. I'm going to use the bone too. That's going to impart so much flavor. And chicken bouillon. Now I'm going to use, you could use the powdered bouillon or a couple of bouillon cubes. But what's super great is better than bouillon, which I would use if I had it, but don't have it today. So I'm going to go ahead and use this. Little salt and pepper, 2 tablespoons of flour, got carrot, onion, potatoes, 4.5 cups of milk, and a cup of half and half or heavy cream if you don't have a half and half, just to finish it off in the end. And then I'm going to top it with cheese. Sargento, only way to go. Time to peel and chop some onions. I peeled my potatoes, my carrots, and my onion. And a little tip is I have a plastic bag where I do all my peeling. This way I have just this little piece of garbage. Thank you for coming. Keeps everything nice and clean. And a little tip for you too is I got this basket at the dollar store. Well, for $1. And I use it to rinse my potatoes. It's just a little bit easier. Now, the carrots you want to chop small. To chop your carrots small, you're going to see a fat end and then a thinner end. You're going to kind of cut it in the middle and then in half twice to make them nice and teeny tiny. And then for the bigger one, I'm going to cut 1/3 of it. And anytime you have a chance to get it on a flat surface, that's what you do. And then I'm going to cut it in thirds again. And this guy's super big, so see how fat that is? I'm going to get him even smaller. Now the onions, I know a lot of people have a bunch of different ways, but this is how I do it. I peel it, I chop it in half, and then I just go down like this. I know I'm going to get comments on this one, but that's okay. Give me a comment. And on an you need about 8 medium russet potatoes for this recipe. Any starchy potato will do. The main thing here is to cut them about 1/2 inch, about like that. Get them as even as possible. This way they'll cook together the same. Now onto the leftover ham. I'm gonna use a boning knife. If you have one of these, this is gonna be your best tool. If you don't, you can always use any kind of knife that you have. But if you're fortunate to have one of these, it's thicker on one end and then comes to a nice good point. It gets closer to the bone than other knives. It might have come in a knife set that you got or something, and usually you'll have one of these things. I'm gonna go ahead and sharpen it. Now I sharpen my knife pretty much every time I use it. This isn't going to sharpen a dull blade, but it will extend the life of the one you have. If it does get dull, you have to kind of get some kind of machine to do it. Anyway, on your cutting hand, you want to grip it with your thumb and your pointer behind the safety bar. And you're going to go at like a 22-degree angle if you think of it less than a 45-degree. And then you go towards you a few times like this. And this is really for knife maintenance. Okay, paper towel, a damp paper towel underneath your cutting board. Always do that when you have a sharp knife. And then you just cut as close to the bone as you can. And you want to cut pieces that are about the same size as your potato. Like that, I'll do. All right, gonna finish cutting this up. We'll start cooking the soup. Let's get cooking. I got a half a stick of butter that I'm gonna melt over medium heat. I'm gonna add in my carrots and onions and saute that for about 5 minutes until everything is soft. After your potatoes get soft in the butter, now remember, if I didn't have any ham, I would have used bacon, taken the bacon out, and then used the bacon grease instead of the butter. But we have ham today, so we'll do ham. You could even do both. Add in your 2 tablespoons of flour. Just gonna stir that around the pot until the flour gets cooked off of its floury flavor. Take about a minute or two. You wanna stir it pretty constantly at this point. You don't want your flour to burn. You just wanna burn off the flour flavor. You see how the carrots and onions absorb the flour? This is what sets you up for a good base. And we're gonna start adding in our milk. Bouillon. Stir that up a sec, get it all in there. If there's any flour in the bottom of the pan, you're gonna scrape that off. And potatoes. Stir it up again. And our ham bone. It's gonna give us some flavor in there. Okay, I'm gonna cover it and let potatoes cook for about 12 to 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, we're gonna check the potatoes with a fork till they're a fork tender, which is what they are now. I don't know if you can see, there's still a little bit left to go. About 5 more minutes. And that's when we're gonna add in our ham. Stir that all in there. The ham's already cooked, so we just really wanna warm it up. Get those flavors going before we finish it off. A couple more minutes. Okay, let's check. See how we're doing. I'm gonna check my potatoes to see if they're fork tender. I'm gonna get like one of the bigger ones. Where's the big one? Here's one. I'm using my fork instead of a knife because I'm checking for fork tender, not knife tender. That's good. Gonna go ahead and take out the bone. Hello, you. Thank you for flavoring my soup so wonderfully. I'm gonna finish it up with a cup of half and half. And this is when we're gonna test for seasoning. Now you know I didn't add any salt and pepper yet because I have salty ham, so I didn't want to overdo it. Actually, it doesn't need any salt. Let's just do some pepper. I'm gonna let it sit just for a couple of minutes until the half and half gets hot. Oh, look how great that is. I got the cheese on the top. Lots of potatoes and ham. I want to make sure I get a little bit of everything. A little ham, a little potato. Oh, it's so warm and comforting. The potatoes are creamy. The holiday ham, that's what I love about using the leftover ham with this. Because you have that ham glaze seeping out throughout the whole thing, flavoring it up. And the bone gives it a deep richness and flavor. So good. This is the best way to use your leftover ham. Give me a comment if you like this recipe. And don't forget to ring that notification bell because I have new videos every week. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. This brings me to my happy place. All the dogs start coming around. They know when I'm cutting meat, they're gonna get all of the scraps. They just know it. Turkey ham. Yeah, they're gathering around. They're being really good, so we'll give them some.